everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. I'm the founder of Ashes to Beauty Ministries, and today I am talking to you about what to do when you're in the process of narcissistic abuse recovery. You've been making some strides, you kind of have a game plan about how you're going to sever the trauma bond, about how you're going to move on with your life, about how you're going to find your true center, reconnect with your identity and all of that. But then something happens where you just feel like you are stuck, like you can't move forward, or maybe you even feel like you've taken a few steps back and, kind of what to do to regain your momentum. And this is a really common thing for people to experience. And I think it's true for people of all stages, whether or not they're going through narcissistic abuse recovery, maybe they're just starting a business or trying to build a family or whatever. I think that this is something that lots of people discover. They kind of take one step forward but two steps back, and it kind of feels like you're not going anywhere or you're not making any true progress. And when you're in that place, it can be easy to listen to the lies, to listen to that voice that's telling you you're not making progress, you're no better off than you were a month ago or 6 months ago, you aren't progressing, there's no hope for you. And again, this is very common to have those lies kind of echoing in your mind. And today I want to talk to you about what I do when I feel that voice speaking to me, when I'm at this moment, right, where I can either choose to listen to that voice or I can choose to do something different, where I can use that voice as fuel for my own healing and recovery journey, or I can kind of allow it to sabotage everything that I've been doing and have done up until that point. So first of all is being aware of your thoughts. And I talk a lot about establishing a baseline. And again, I still encourage y'all to do this. It doesn't matter where you are. You could still be with the narcissist, but it's very important that you have a baseline of your thoughts, your emotional status on a regular basis. So like most of the day, what are you at? And this is easy to do. I've got a bunch of videos that talk to you about this more in depth, so I'll just briefly go over it. So maybe 4 times throughout the day, you set a reminder to check in with yourself. What kind of thoughts are you having? What is your emotional status? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you depressed? Are you anxious or worried? Are you fearful? Whatever you are, make a note of it. You need to write it down. This is not something that you just do in your head. You need to write it down, and do this 4 times a day, and do that for about 2 weeks, and kind of give yourself a number line, if you will, from like 1 to 10, and rate how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, along with taking note of your emotional status and your thoughts that you're having during that time. And what you're going to do is, simple math, add everything up, divide it by 14, and that's going to be where you are, your baseline. And that's important to have when you are in the process of recovery. So you need to get a plan together. You need to have steps that you're going to take, tangible steps, not just like, oh, someday I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. These need to be actual steps that you are going to do every day, and you are going to read them to yourself every day when you wake up to remind yourself of where you are heading. But you need to take a look at your baseline and continue to do this every 14 days. So, keep a running baseline. If my normal baseline is an 8, and when I do my check-in, I'm at a 2, why is that? What is the issue? What happened? What were the circumstances surrounding that kind of drop off? So I want to make note of those things, because those issues I'm going to need to address. Those are going to be the things that are going to become my triggers if I don't take care of them, if I don't do something with them. So that's number one, that thing that we need to do: establish a baseline, be aware of your baseline, and how are the circumstances that are happening around you affecting or impacting that baseline on a daily basis. And again, the reason that I say to write this down is because for this next step. So when you feel, again, that voice that's coming over saying, I'm not going anywhere, and usually it's when you're a 2, when you're used to being an 8 on your baseline, something happened, or you're just having a bad day. Maybe you're having just a struggle that you seem to be dealing with every single day, and it never you never seem to overcome it. And so it's really making you feel hopeless or whatever. You're just feeling not great for whatever reason. Maybe something didn't even happen. You just woke up feeling not good that day. What you need to do is to have a set predetermined choice. And I've talked about this a lot, making predetermined choices and how important this is for moving on and actually making a different life. So I'm talking about a lifestyle that you are creating. This is a new mindset. This is new habits, new behaviors, all of that kind of stuff. So you need to have predetermined choice about what you're going to do. When I feel off of my baseline, I'm normally an 8. Today I woke up at a 2. Here's what I'm going to do whenever I feel that I'm at a 2. You know, I just woke up, I'm at a 2. Here's what I'm going to do. Step number 1, I'm going to take a look at the rolling baseline that I've had. I'm going to see that I started off at like a median of 4, and now my median is a 6. And I'm going to remember that I have made progress, that I don't feel like I made progress right now, but that my feelings aren't always true, and that they are also learning to come up into this new frequency, into this new energy that I'm creating with my mind by impacting my brain, which impacts my body. So my emotions are going to need to catch up to this new version of myself. And I'm going to write that down. I'm going to make that statement clear so that I read that over myself. My feelings can lie to me, but here's what the facts are. I've kept a journal of my progress so far. I remember where I was 6 months ago. I reflect upon that, and I take note of the fact that just because I woke up at a 2, I just was feeling off today, doesn't mean that I have to spend the whole day in that state of mind. So for me, you need to find what works for you. But for me, there's some things that I will immediately do. Before I start trying to analyze the situation about what needs to change, maybe some things that I could do different, or even the circumstance that maybe impacted me. So what somebody said to me, or what did or didn't happen that I was really hoping for or planning on coming through. Before I start analyzing that, what I will do is I just shut everything off. I turn on worship music. I go into prayer. I go into worship, and I refocus everything. I just don't worry about my issue. It's going to be there in 30 minutes when I'm done praying. It's going to be there still. So I don't need to consume my mind with that worry. What I need to do right now is get into the presence of heaven and remember that I command things from heaven to earth. And so I really just allow the atmosphere of heaven to surround me, to invade me, to come into the home that I'm in, to come into the room of my home that I'm in, and really kind of wash everything away. When I come out of that, I'm in a much better headspace to think about what is going on. If there's an issue that needs to be dealt with straight away, I have a much more centered way of looking at it. Sometimes what I will do before that is I love to run, so I will go for a run for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. Just go for a run to clear my head. And during my run, I will purposefully turn on like upbeat music, or I will listen to a message like a podcast or something that I know is going to uplift me. And so during that time, it's like I'm not even thinking about my situation. I'm not trying to find a solution to whatever situation or problem that I'm facing. I'm not worried about that obstacle. I'm not worried about the fact that I feel like a 2. Right now, I'm just going to go for a run. You know, it's one step at a time kind of thing. And so again, when I come back from that, when I'm done with that, I'm always in a much better space to really take a look objectively about what is going on and come up with my next step, you know. So I have all of these steps listed. I have all of these things written down, and it actually says like, did you go for a run? And if the answer is no, it's like, go for a run. You're not ready to think about that situation. You're not ready to analyze that obstacle at this moment. And I put myself into a very disciplined schedule about what I'm going to do with my predetermined choices before I handle or before I start to analyze the problem or the feeling or the circumstance that is disrupting my emotional state. And I stick to that. Like, these are my predetermined choices. So I am not going to go against myself by doing something that I previously had pledged to do to myself. That's not honoring to myself. And again, this is all about boundaries. Boundaries are first for yourself. You need to learn them for yourself first before you can expect other people to follow your boundaries and be respectful of them. So if I can't set them for my own self, if I can't honor my own boundaries myself, then I have no right to expect somebody else to do it. So again, I honor these predetermined choices. These are real to me. It's like I'm going to follow this protocol that when I am thinking clearly, have come up with, and that has always led me through these kinds of difficult seasons of feeling unstuck. And sometimes this has been even months long, of days and days of waking up every single day just done with everything, and I can totally relate to that, where it's like, yeah, I just don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to do life coaching. I don't want to meet with my clients. I don't want to do a podcast interview. I don't want to do my YouTube channel. I don't want to speak with people. Like, I just don't want to do anything. And it can be difficult to push through that if you don't already have predetermined choices that are backed up with evidence that you can read to yourself, that you can show to yourself that you are making progress. Like, remember where you were 3 years ago. Remember where you were 6 months ago. And by the way, here is your baseline for the past however many months or weeks that you've been keeping track of your baseline. Like, this stuff is working. It's just taking a while to see the culmination of all of those things take effect in the natural world around you. So don't allow one thing that happens on the outside of you affect and ruin all of the work that you've been doing on the inside. And taking care of yourself and self-love and practicing self-care and things like this are super important. And so don't ignore all of that work that you've been doing. Sometimes it can feel, or it can even look like on the outside of you, that no progress is happening, but that is just a lie. And that voice is sent to make sure that you don't progress. That's the voice of the narcissist still stuck in your head, telling you that you'll never amount to anything, or that you can't do it, or that you're not strong enough, or that you're not worthy of it. So ignore that voice. Don't ever partner with that. That's the opposite of what you want to be, bringing into your mind and surrounding yourself with. So I call this like a little toolbox. So having your predetermined choices, mapping it all out, what it's going to look like, having a set place where that stays. When you're feeling super, super sad or super depressed, you don't want to have to try to remember what journal did I write that down in, or where did I put that list. You want to have this easily accessible. So if you can put this on your wall somewhere, you can even make it look really nice, put it in a Word document, or do something in Canva with it, and then frame it so that it can sit on your desk or it can hang on your wall, and you will always have that in front of you. It's like, I don't have to do zero work. All I have to do is read it. I don't have to go looking for it. I don't have to wonder where it is. And that can really help you get unstuck as well. And so again, remembering how far you've come, where you are right now, recognizing that voice for what it is. It's a liar. It's part of the trauma bond. It's part of the residue, if you will, left over from the narcissist still going on in your mind. And step 3 and third of all, is remembering where you're going. Don't forget your goals. Don't forget the life vision that you have for yourself. And by the way, if you need help coming up with your life vision statement, I have a little teaching on that on my Instagram. The link to that is in the description of this video if you want to check that out. And just get that together, reading that life vision over to yourself, remembering what you're doing and why you're building that ideal life that you're pursuing right now. Remembering all of those things and the promises that you've made to yourself and the boundaries that you've set up for yourself and the predetermined choices, and the way that you are going to honor yourself is by following all of those things. So even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, that's when patterns are made. That's when behaviors are formed. That's the more you do it, even when it's super difficult, that's when you need to do it. That's the most important time to do it. That's when muscle memory is built. It's how your brain is literally reshaped and rewired. You're tearing down all of those negative constructs from the negative thoughts. and the negative words that were spoken over you by the narcissist or by those around and surrounded by the narcissist, like they're flying monkeys or whatever, their supporters. You're tearing down those negative thoughts and you're replacing them with healthy thoughts. It's amazing. It's incredible. And you're actively building the life that you want to lead for your own self and lead for your children, leave as an example for other people who look at you. So I hope this video has helped you get a real handle on how to get unstuck, of practical things that you can do to get unstuck. And the more that you repeat them again, not only the easier that they will be, but the more solid those things are going to be in your life. So the more likely you are to repeat those patterns of behavior and those thought processes. So again, I'm Dr. Angel Storm. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel below by clicking the subscribe button and turning on the little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video to this channel.